Nothing stands unchallenged for long here in Gaia's realm. Everything is kept in balance, small discrepancies soon overwhelmed, by a simple force of nature, reliable as the moon or tides, that always one remains in front and just behind to spur you to rise. This is the simple spiral that began the unfurling. This is as simple as a plant compelled into flowering, that the pressures forced against a thing dictate its very shape, and the challenges that you undertake separate the man from ape. It's nature that is chasing you, and her constant need to refine, though most will not see it, the greater picture most divine. For anything that goes unchallenged soon softens and degrades. We see this in domesticity, how a species retrogrades, and loses its sharp edges, its honed instincts begin to fade. The softened thing it has become stands in its predecessor's shade. And so Gaia does chase you to save you from this fate, but always you have it as a choice to go limp and domesticate. This is by far the most common choice, the prime rib to wrestle over. We'll fight each other tooth and claw for the chance to dispel our powers. The lowest position in the pack, least responsibility or chance of fault, is hands down the preferred choice most humans vie for by default. And so we see the softening of our species all around, eroded by the comforts of our so-called progress, how profound. We've ignored the most basic principles, the first lessons to this realm. You're shaped only by the strife that you face, not that you avoid for sake of overwhelm. As certain laws cannot be broken, they persist most constantly. Inaction is a conscious choice to volunteer for what is to be, a sacrifice for what always comes next, the repercussions for thee, as any delegation has always resulted in misery. For nature abhors a vacuum, and all is constantly on the move. The second that eyes are averted, corrosion sneaks in most crude, and always we act so surprised when caught in this familiar pose. Myriad excuses soon rush forth, even ordering themselves in prose. We dance a most well-known dance, the avoidance of blame. This species, it seems, has evolved to hide its eyes from shame, and voluntarily blind the self, refusing to look around and see his own fingerprints coding his own life and those around. What fools are we to put up such an intricate display, when by its very aim it seeks to deepen our dismay? Your strifes are your own making, a work you've toiled at now for years. Each time you ignored or dismissed a thing was a conscious engagement here. In Gaia's mind you addressed her, looked her in the eyes, and volunteered a space for her and her kin to brew and rise. The results of this concoction, because child you're here to grow, is the clear picture of your failings are displayed for all the world to know. And as the other is the mirror with which we can meet the soul, the disappointment in their eyes is what makes the lesson take its toll. The avoidance now inverted, reality forcing it into light. The organism is given the choice now to either evolve or take flight, and voluntarily blind the self, refusing to look around and see one's own fingerprints coding one's own life and those around. All other beings feel this, and so are always on the move. All is in moderation, and no excesses are approved. It's a simple way of living, looked down on by the civilized. Funny how its avoidance is the main cause of their demise. And so repercussions will chase you, ripples spurring a leaf along. The predators that make you sweat also force your bones to be strong. When the wolf got faster, the rabbit doubled down, adapt and overcome, and if needed, go underground. Seek answers in the darkness where none have gone before. Change here is a constant, and so you must step through that door, or else stand in opposition, be the sandcastle to the wave, and continue to cry out as if it's the ocean who misbehaved, and likely brew an anger and resentment to those you see, who float atop the surface, catching the currents of reality, ignoring that they work always, busy as the humble bees, in the simple act of consciousness and shouldering responsibilities. choosing to be Sisyphus and doing their best against the strain, knowing this tension is private and will always be in the shade. For it is the same for all here, the amoeba and the man. Stress and strife and more here will make you question what you can stand. This pressure from the outside, if met with your own over time, will strengthen every part of you and let your instincts become defined. And because this realm respects you, it pulses waves of challenge to thee, knowing you have all you need within to grow and set yourself free. And so it's nature that is chasing you and her inescapable laws, and foolish rabbit are you if you think you'll escape her jaws. But would you really want to, with all that we have outlined herein? Wouldn't you rather play the game and grow the powers that lay within? As above is so below, and as within so without, Maya's given us a simple tool with which to dispel doubt. The choice is truly simple and boils down to one thing. Am I of benefit or deficit here? What does this action bring? With this as in a compass, the path becomes most clear. Losing grip of one's own self is then all you have to fear. So here we are back to nature, simple birds tending their nest, aware the potential to thrive here upon one's own shoulders rest. And grateful to all of nature and the threats that so abound, for it was their mere presence that forced the changes most profound. And so when Gaia chases, don't hold anything back. Align yourself with nature's laws and know you'll survive the flak. As most things here of value, one example here close to heart. The diamond is born from what carbon believes will surely be his depart. But it is in this simple holding, the bearing of without, that gifts us our most precious things, does inner value sprout. So enjoy your games with nature, and let yourself settle in. Drink in the potentials of letting out what could be within.